My name is Albert Merrick. I am taking ODT1000 Section 10 at Full Sail University, and I'm going to try and keep this as short as possible, so I'm just going to jump right into it. Now, the first thing on my list here is something that I learned taking this course that I didn't know before. And for me, that is basically the rate at which the game market is growing and expanding. From what I've learned and seen and researched, the fact game consoles and console-based games are kind of slowing down in a way. But they're not stopping, they're just slowing down slightly. There are new jobs being created for game designers all over the place. It's not it's going from a super boom town to suddenly dead stop. There's no jobs for it. It's growing. It will never stop growing from my understanding of my research. But the difference is coming from the mobile market, where casual games on mobile phones like Words with Friends, Scrabble, and other games that are like that. Flappy Bird was a big one out there for a while. The mobile market is leveling out the game design field and the game field in general for all parties involved. And that to me was very surprising. I didn't realize that. I always thought of mobile games as lower tier, not really worth working into and building up on and doing anything with, but this has reversed my suspicions on that. Mobile games are a very big part of the gaming world. Now, the next thing is, does this confirm my decision to take the degree course that I'm taking for game design? For me, yes, it does. Game design has a lot of open fields. It's very competitive. I can be a very competitive person. And working here at Full Sail and through this class has shown me that this is what I want to do. I've seen at least on market side of it, it's going to be very strong for jobs. Yeah, I'm going to have to put some work in to get these jobs that I want, but they are there. They're not vanishing. They're not disappearing. Now, as respect for the other degree programs that I could get into for like game art, I can't even draw a straight line with a ruler, so that one's already out the window. I'm just not an artist. I can't draw. I prefer to write is my real stigma, but that's for another video at another time. The other ones, game development, dealing with the algorithms of making the game run itself, and the code, game engine, and stuff like that. That was the only other option I really wanted to look into, but I kind of had to find that balancing act, and from my understanding of game design, I'm still confirming my suspicions of staying with game design. One assignment that I found really helpful for this class was definitely looking into the market itself for video games. I think it's the first or second week assignment where we had to go through and research our degree field, what it's going to look like in 10 years, 5 years, 25 years, etc., however it's slightly changed or modified per class, per person. But basic concept is looking at that projecting ourselves that far into the future to see where we want to be, where the jobs are going to be at, and how we should possibly attain them, or how we think to obtain them. And the next runner-up, I guess you would say, for this would have to be the networking plan discussion board that we did last week. It sat there and it gives everyone a basic idea of, one, how to keep a social network clean, how to maintain certain contacts, like through Full Sail, getting contacts through networking with all the people that we're working with now. Those are some of the best things that we could possibly do. One thing that I would add to this course, they would probably make it slightly better, is instead of just sitting somewhere and having, okay, look up your degree and then think about doing in this degree, or doing this or doing that. Like, one of the better things would probably do is just to have a game, like a team-based or group-based project where you take one or two people from each degree field and put them together and have each one come up with something separate from a different degree. Like, take a game art student and a game design student, tell the game art student he needs to research something about game design. And that's what he has to do. Then take the game design student and have him research something about game art and have them collaborate together with what they found for their own degree programs and compare notes basically and figure out where each thing sits at best, instead of just sitting there and saying, oh yeah, just kind of go off in la la land and try and figure it out. Have someone there that they can really communicate with that's in that field, that knows a little bit better than the other degree. Like the game art student will know game art a little better than the game design student. The game design student will know a little bit better about game design than the game art student. Something to that effect. Something that I didn't really find useful or would remove from the course would be looking up some key terms, because from my experience out in other real-world marketplaces like electricians' jobs, not all the key terms that are ever stated are ever really used. It all depends on where you're at, and who you're dealing with will either use a term that they've coined for it to tell it what it is, or that they have something else instead of that. Like I know for at least an electrician's job, because I'm also a certified electrician, basically something known as a pothead, not to be confused with the illicit drug. No, it's not that. What it stands for is a cable termination, a cable end of a cable coming out of a circuit breaker box. And instead of sitting there and electricians calling it a pothead, they call it a cable termination. So it's, some of these words are very interchangeable, so it's probably best to sit there and wait to start building real-world experience using certain terms. It's always good to know what the terms are, but I think that it could be better used elsewhere. That's just my own personal opinion on it. As for anything else, I'm trying to keep this as short as possible. I'm running just a little over 7 minutes now. So I'll bid you all farewell, and I hope everyone has a great rest of the year. Thank you.